Thanks, Alex. And Alex is right. I get to have the fun part of the training. Let's go on and talk about what we're expecting here. What are these case studies, and how do we want you to work through them? So on screen, you see Pam Beasley, and here's Pam Beasley's case study. On screen, you see her enrollment history, as well as a brief narrative about Pam. And here, Pam is good at anything she puts effort into. Pam has put minimal effort into high school, preferring to dedicate her time to things that interested her personally. Taking care to pass all of her courses, she maintained a 2.85 GPA throughout her high school career, which coincidentally was the exact same minimum GPA needed to be accepted into any Pennsylvania public university. Pam's high school career had one issue with her calculus teacher requiring Pam to attend a summer school session to complete the second semester of her senior year. So with that, we have a baseline of Pam, including her enrollment history there. So we're going to require you as a group to answer the questions we put forth on for each scenario. The questions are going to be based on the information in the narrative, on all the screen captures we put up there. Anything that's relevant to the cohort is fair game. The answers can be arrived at by simply reviewing the information and applying the knowledge you already have. If you've done cohort work in the past, you've done this before. It's not difficult. It's just a process. If you follow the process, you get to the end right. Now, when I said you're going to need your workbook, this is why you're going to need your workbook. In the workbook, all four case studies are there, as well as the job aids to establish membership and the job aid to establish outcome. So everything you need is in your workbook right now. So make sure you have it available, either in a hard copy or a virtual form. And then when we come back, you don't need to assign a secretary to your group, because each one of you is going to put your answer into the chat box. So that's the way we did it last time. So that way you don't get to hide behind anybody. You got to give us an answer. We want to know your answers. So in Pam's case study, here are the questions. What's Pam's cohort membership? And identify the cohort membership using the ending, the reporting year described in the cohort membership job aid. So what is Pam, and then what is Pam's cohort? Those are the questions we want answered. Very simple. So moving on, here's how you do that. You look at the enrollment history, and as you can see on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, her first instance of a grade 9 enrollment began on August 12, 2017. So the 17-18 academic year. So a grade 9 in 17-18 falls into the red band, right? So when is she expected to report? That would be the 2020-2021 academic year. So that's her current year. And that's how we're going to report this. When you answer, what is her membership? I want it to be answered in the form of the year she's expected to be reported. So don't tell me the year she started, tell me the year she's expected to complete. And that is the 2021 academic year. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, moving on to her outcome. Once you have identified her membership, you now know when she's supposed to report. So by August 15th, that grad break point, what was her coding in CalPATS? Well, in this case, she has an August 10th, 2021 E23100 exit. So she's a high school grad if that date falls within our reporting calendar. Is August 10th before August 15th? Yes. So she is a graduate completer for the ACGR. That's pure and simple. That's the process you have to follow. Now, if she had graduated on August 16th, would she have been a graduate completer? No, because she would have been outside the window. She would have been considered something else. But what? Your first case study is Dwight. He is located on page 9 of your workbook. Creed is on page 10. And I just want you to write down your answers on a brief, get a Post-it note out, get a notebook out, whatever it is, write your answers down to the questions. I want you to write them down, commit to the answer in your own way. So that way, when the answers come up, you have them written down and you feel good about that.
You're just showing the two, Dwight and Creed, for this breakout room.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Let's go over case study number 1 for Dwight. Now, I love this scenario, so I'm just going to read it out. Dwight was an unconventional student. His motto was, quote, "Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing." Well, that's Dwight for you. In 9th grade, Dwight enrolled in the public safety course in the CTE credits and took martial arts courses for PE. He envisioned himself eventually in the future becoming an enforcer of all the rules. In 10th grade, he had to recuse himself from his education to deal with a weevil infestation at the family beet farm. The insects caused enough economic damage that Dwight qualified for FRPM earlier in the year. Fortunately, he was able to make up for the missed credits during the summer school and was promoted to 11th grade in the fall. Dwight did well until the spring of his 11th grade year when a pandemic, which he had secretly wished for, plagued humans worldwide. As there was no electricity on the farm, he was not able to participate in remote learning. He had no further formal education, but he took the CHSPE and the California High School Proficiency Exam and passed it in the spring of 2021. And below that, we see Dwight's enrollment history with 3 questions. What is Dwight's membership year? What is Dwight's outcome? And will Dwight be counted in any of the subcategories on the 15.2 report? So in the chat box, I want you to tell me the answer to question 1. What is Dwight's membership year? And remember, we report it as the year that he was expected to complete. So go ahead and start populating that chat box. Okay. All right, good news, good news, good news. All right, I'm seeing a lot of the right answers here. I haven't seen a wrong one. Oh, wait a minute. Remember, Stephanie, when we report it, we're reporting it as the year that they complete, not the year that they qualified for it. So it's the reporting year that we're showing. So you have the right information when he started. You're just using the wrong nomenclature to tell me when he's going to finish.
I like to think of it as the class of, right? So,
Perfect.
when you're a freshman, what you're expected to graduate in 2021. You're the class of 2021.
Very good. Let's see. So now we got that down. Let's move on to his outcome. In the chat box, go ahead and tell me what Dwight is as his outcome. What bucket does he fall into? All right, and remember, it's not just completer. You have to tell me what kind of completer he is. There we go. Good, 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 good. Good. And it's important to remember that on the outcome reporting, that for federal reporting, it's binary. They're either a graduate completer or they're not. So all of this nuance of what kind of completer, that's helpful to you locally so you can use that data to address your student body. And everything else is, again, binary. So it looks like everybody got it. It's completer CHSPE, and that falls into that E230 330, which is in that top line of his enrollment history. So question number 3, will Dwight be counted in any of the subcategories on the 15.2 report? And for that, you have to rely on what's in that narrative because there's no program record or anything else. So what do we have? Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you're cheating. You can tell me yes, but tell me which one. All right. So yes, he qualified for FRPM, but that's not a specific category. The FRPM puts him into the SED category, the socioeconomically disadvantaged, which most of you have there. Very good. All right. Very good. So let's move on to Creed. So here is Creed. And that was Alex. Is that you?
That was me.
All right, you're up.
All right, folks. So we're going to start with question 1. If you could write in the chat box, what is Creed's membership year? What year was he supposed to finish his cohort? All right. It's like a lot of people are putting 2020, 21, which is correct. And the reason why, and I try to make it a little bit challenging here, because if you look at his enrollment, the first one is an enrollment of 30, right? And he's in there less than 30 days. But then the next enrollment is a primary. And then to add on top of that, he doesn't have a 12th grade enrollment there, right? He finishes in 11th grade, but you all got it right. It is 2021, even though there is no enrollment for the 2021 academic year. So good job there. Second question is, what's CREED's cohort outcome? If you write it in the chat box. All right. A lot of dropouts there. And that's correct. His last enrollment is 11th grade, and it's in E155. And because there's no subsequent enrollment, CREED is a dropout. And then last question is, will CREED appear as homeless in the 15.2 cohort report? And I also try to throw a curveball there, because you'll see there on the screenshot, there's a homeless record, but it's from 1819, which is his, I believe, 10th grade level, right? However, if we remember slide 25 that Gary covered, any SPRG record that falls within the cohort period, which this does, gets included in the cohort report. So yes, CREED would appear as homeless in the 15.2 report because that program record falls within the cohort period. All right.
All right. So it looks like there was a little bit of confusion there at the end about just a few people didn't quite catch that it was any time in the reporting period, and the reporting period is that 4-year window. So because he is. Now it's time to hit the second breakout session, and that will be pages 12 through 15 of your workbook for Andy and Kelly. I want you to write down your answers, and when we come back, we'll go over Andy's and Kelly's scenarios. All righty. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that was fun. Let's go over the case study for Andy. And I'm not going to read through it. I think everybody had that opportunity. So Andy's 3 questions. What was Andy's membership year? Go ahead and put that in the chat box. And remember, yeah, there you go. Reporting year, the class of. Very good. Good. All righty. All right, let's take a look at Andy's outcome. What does everybody think Andy, and I'm sorry, 2021 is correct. Yes. Let's look at his outcome. What is his outcome here? Grade completer. Good. That kind of made a little, this one was made with a little bit of a trip in it, in that although he's included in the 2021 cohort and being reported in the 2021 academic year, he completed in the 1920 academic year. So he was an early grad. So he was reported as a graduate at the end of the 1920 academic year for CalPAD's counting purposes for state reporting, but for the cohort, he was not reported until this year. So it was a small thing, but it was there. So question 3, will Andy be counted as a CTE completer on the 15-2 report? No. Just couldn't commit to that CTE program. What a loss. All right, you got that right. Okay, so let's move on to Kelly. Gary, I think that one was yours.
That's mine.
Okay.
So we hope everyone enjoyed reading our little scenarios. That's one of the highlights of creating this training for us, to come up with the, put a little humor into it. I think all of them had a little humor, and how could you not with the office as your theme for this year? And we're already thinking about themes for next year along the same lines. So for Kelly, what did you guys come up for her cohort membership year? Yeah, it was, you're right, 2021. We've decided that we didn't make these as hard as we've had in the past. So next year, look for our challenge, because all of ours were 2021 this year. So the next one is the CCI metrics that will be shown for Kelly on the 15.2 report. So there was a little verbiage in there. What did you guys find? It does look like you guys know what you're doing. UC, CSU, NCO bioliteracy. That's correct. And then finally, what was Kelly's outcome? You guys got it. Yeah, we made these a little too easy this year. So look for a challenge next year. And I guess back to Paul.